Hey everyone, this is the first vlog that I'll be doing for my blog, pulling back the curtain on my senior independent project. I wish I could say that I have some mind-blowing, earth-shattering reason as to why I decided to do my first vlog today, but unfortunately, no such luck. Out of all honesty, the reason I did this vlog today was because this week has been emotionally and mentally frustrating in terms of my project, simply because I know that I said my goal this week was to choose a crowdsourcing platform in order to fund my project later this year so I have the funds to actually put on this play. But I found myself hitting the same brick wall over and over again simply because I didn't feel I had enough information to make an informed decision, which, if I made a rash decision, it would only cause more work for me later, which I don't want at all. That being said, I have narrowed down my choices to either Kickstarter.com or Indiegogo.com. They're both very similar media platforms. They both have the same mission statement, the same layout. They have very similar programs in that they let you reward your backers, etc. The only difference, even though it's a really big difference as I've come to find, is that they have two different methods of funding. Now, Kickstarter.com does what they call all or nothing funding, which is to say that if the creator of a project does not raise their set amount by the time the deadline rolls around, they lose everything that people have donated. Even if they're only, say, $2 off, they don't get to keep that money. It all goes back to the backers. Obviously, that's much lower risk for the backers because they know they will not be losing money, but it's much higher risk for the creator because it runs the risk of if you do not get the entire amount, then you will not be able to make this project happen. Indiegogo uses what they call flexible funding, which is almost the opposite of all or nothing funding. Because even if you do not meet your goal by your set date, you can still keep those funds. But Indiegogo.com requires that they take about 5% more of your outgoing funds, which is to say probably about 10% of your total, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. But obviously, both have their highs and lows. With all or nothing funding, there's the huge risk of you not being able to get the funds that you need. And if I didn't meet my goal, then I would have nothing to create this play with, or virtually nothing. And all my work for the entire year would completely go down the drain. But there's also been studies proven that with all or nothing campaigns, people feel more of a sense of urgency to help the person who is behind this whole campaign because they get the feeling that if I do not donate, this person will not be able to make this happen. And it's also shown that they tend to donate more, especially toward the very end of the campaign when people are getting very close to their deadlines. And it's shown that there's a huge spike in the amount that backers will put into a campaign. But with Indiegogo, there is the safety net of even if I do not meet my goal, then I will have something to create this production with, which is always a big deal and a big plus. But also, it's shown that with flexible funding, campaigns backers tend to be more apathetic. They don't care as much about the project because they think, oh, if I don't donate X amount, then they will still have something to make this project happen. Which, it seems like it'll still happen, but then there's the frightening, frightening thought of if everyone thinks that, then you will not have anything to make that project happen. So that's the struggle that I've been going through this week and trying to make some kind of a decision. I know that I've decided to extend my deadline for myself and switch a couple of my deadlines around to maybe make it a little bit more accommodating to the things I've been finding. I know that I've been reaching out to several people asking for their advice or if they have any resources they think might be helpful, any people they might know who I could talk to. But that being said, I'd also like to open the floor up to all of you, which is to say, I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your advice on the matter. If you have any sort of resources that you think might help me, just shoot me a message, comment on this blog post, and I guess that's all I have to say for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on Monday.